But now we're going to move on to our second wonderful speaker, who is Rachel Holmes, and is a little bit of background. So Rachel is responsible for the overall management of Matrix, which I'm sure she will tell you a little bit about. And her role there includes the development of client relationships, marketing strategy, human resources, and ensuring the core values that inform how they work as an organization. She worked closely with the practice managers to direct and develop the practice of their barristers to ensure that there's consistently a high quality service provided. And so now I'll turn it over to Rachel, who will go into much more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha, very much. Thank you. It's absolutely lovely to be here today. I thought I'd break down my 10 minutes. I'll just tell you the sort of points I'm going to talk to. And forgive me, I've got a split screen here, so you can see my head sort of bobbing about. Just a little bit about my career to date, then how it is I achieved what I have done in my career to date. I'm in my mid-50s, so I think I can say how I've achieved career success without sounding too big-headed at this stage. What were the specific highs and lows? And there are plenty of each. How did I overcome the lows in my career? Because I think this is something that I'm very keen to talk to people about who are starting out. What advice I'd give to you who are starting out in the law, and what advice would I give generally to my younger self? So starting off with my sort of career, I am the chief executive of Matrix Chambers. Matrix is a barristers' chambers which has got 100 absolutely top-class stellar barristers, top of their game, doing a real range of law, from media to employment to high-end crime to commercial law to public law, everything from defending oligarchs to defending people on death row in America. It's exceptionally challenging because the work we do is high-end and often very important work. We change the law as well as live the law. And I will just say to you all in transparency, I'm not a lawyer myself. I have a business background. So I started off working for a commercial education organization. And then I morphed later in my career to work for BPP. BPP has got a very big law school here in London, and I'm sure some of you know it quite well. And that's where I met James Adekele, who's leader of Generation Success. And I would be touching on how I achieved the position of chief executive. One thing I look back on, and I know, aged about 25, I said to one of my colleagues, I'd like to be a chief executive one day. And I can remember them looking at me like I was absolutely bonkers, because there was nothing to suppose that I would become that at the time. But I had that goal, and I would just set out to you now, have a big ambitious goal, have a big fat dirty ambitious goal, because you might just achieve it. And if you don't have it, you're certainly not going to get it. One of the things I did very early in my career was I just put my hand up for everything. If there was some training going in my organization, I'd say, I'd love to do that, please. If somebody said, oh, is there anybody available to do X? I'd say, yeah, I am. Be the person who is the keenest person in the room. Just show that you've got the passion for it. I was very fortunate to work in an organization that was growing quite rapidly, and therefore I had lots of scope for growing with the organization. But I reached a point in my early 30s where I was about to have my second child, and I'd reached a very high level in the organization, and I made a choice. And I made a choice to give up work when I was on a high to actually stay home with my babies. This is something that is increasingly men and women will be looking after kids. But I just point out that I took quite a long time out to be at home with my children while my husband continued his career. One of the things that I did then to keep my hand in was I did lots of voluntary work. And I became a governor of 2 different schools, and I became a support assistant in a local secondary school where I worked with young people with behavioural issues. And I was just able to keep a life out of my home going, so that when I came back to the world of work, I had something that I could actually evidence that I'd been engaged in the wider world. And I just plant this seed for you now, that one of the things that stood me in the best stead in any job interview I've ever been to is the volunteering work that I've done. So I really emphasize, and I know that Daniel says he's involved in all sorts of voluntary capacities with organizations. It's something that I urge you now, roll up your sleeves and get involved in something, because not only do you give, but I got back so much more from it. So I'll just underline that point. I'd also like to underline that I think I've been successful to the extent that I have been because I've stared off my imposter syndrome. We've all got it, or most of us have got it. And there have been plenty of times when I've walked into a room and I thought, I don't belong here, or I don't know as much as the people around this table. And you've got to look it in the eye and stare it off. And you've got to make sure that you know how to celebrate the things that you are good at, that you know you can do, how to recognize the expertise that you have, and how to articulate it. And when that moment comes, that you're in a situation when you actually don't quite know what to do, you have to stare it down. One of the highs of my career was getting the job at Matrix. This is absolutely pinnacle. I'm delighted to be here. A low in my career was when I was working about 6-7 years ago. I've got a business development background, and I was made marketing director for a very large organization, and it was absolutely overwhelming. I didn't have the expertise at the time. I was jumped over several other people to get the job. I was very fortunate. I did very well in interview. And then I was managing people who had a lot more expertise than me. It was a moment of total overwhelm. And at the same time, I was doing an MBA in my spare time. I had 3 kids. My husband was traveling for work, and I was living in London, and my team was up in Manchester. And twice a week, I had to be in Manchester by 8 o'clock in the morning. That was a low. I was stretched to the limits. What did I do? I asked for help. You are all going to have moments in your life, early on in your career, late in your career, mid in your career, where you are stretched to the limit. I asked for help, by which I looked at my team and I was as authentic as I could be. And I said, I know lots and lots of things, but I don't know everything. And the things I don't know, I want you to help me with. And I'm going to help with the things that you don't know. I got some external help, which is that I got an executive coach to work with me. That cost me money, and every penny of it was very well worth spending. And then I learned how to look after my mental health. And I am today a real champion of mental health issues. I learned to meditate. I do yoga. I know the power of walking in nature, and I know the power of networks. So I reach out to people who do my job in other barristers' chambers. I reach out to people who do similar jobs to me elsewhere in the law. I reach out to people doing jobs similar to me in other organizations. And I have a very, very big network of people who I can call on to support me when time's getting a bit tough. And I support them when their lives are getting a bit tough. What advice would I give you getting into law? I'll underline again, volunteer. If you're still at university, if you're fresh out of university, if you're in university, volunteer in your law society. If you're out of university, I think volunteer in any capacity, because it stands you in great stead. If you've got a chance to be in a debating society, join it. If you're working towards your degree, get the best degree you possibly can. Dig deep, and reach out. LinkedIn is a marvelous tool. Reach out to people like me. Ask me questions. Reach out to Daniel or Dave or Chanel, who are on the call here. None of us would mind answering a question if you send us a little LinkedIn message. We're really happy to help, and I think you'll be amazed how many people are happy to give you a leg up if you ask. So I'm looking at the time. What advice would I give to my younger self, who is just starting out? I think I'd say, believe you're more capable than you think you are today. Don't give up on yourself. I noticed Daniel saying that there was a moment in his academic career, perhaps your A-levels, Daniel, when you didn't do quite as well as you might have done. That was definitely my case. I absolutely messed up my A-levels. Luckily, I got into university, and at university, I was able to prove myself. But I had a really big moment of self-doubt and thought that really this might be the end of things. You've got to dig deep when you hit a mistake or a bump in the road. It's okay. It happens to everybody. Move beyond. I think there's something in the mantra, fake it till you make it. I don't mean to sound shallow, but as I say, there are times when you just don't know things. And if you just put on a smile and put on a jacket, and if you're like me, you put on a bit of lippy, just fake it till you make it, because there is some truth in that. Be the most passionate person in the room. You have to be really curious, really interested. You have to show other people that you care, that you want to learn, that you want to do it right, you want to do it good. Just give a damn. Work hard. There's nothing like working hard. Have a mantra. Every morning, get up with a mantra. Mine is enjoy the challenge. Every day I get up. I don't always feel like getting up and going to work. I have a biorhythm that means I start the day slow and I get better as the day goes on. And sometimes I need a bit of a boot to get me out of that bed. And I know I've got a challenging day ahead, and I just turn it around and say, I'm going to enjoy that challenge today. Whatever it is for you, I really suggest you get yourself a mantra early in your career and stick to it, because it does help. And my parting shot to you all is just be kind. And by which I mean be kind to other people, because it goes a really long way if you're kind to other people. But most of all, be kind to yourself. Thanks, Natasha.
Oh, wow, Rachel, thank you so much for that. Oh my God, that was so inspiring. I couldn't agree more with so much that you said. I just, the imposter syndrome, that's something I've experienced so much. And I don't know, your phrase, having that big, fat, dirty, ambitious goal. Like, I actually wrote it down. I loved it so much. And yeah, I'm also a massive champion of mental health. So I think, and we've actually just started trying to do more of that at GS. So I'm sure we'd love to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is James Adeleke, Chief Executive of Generation Success. If you don't know, we are an award-winning social enterprise on a mission to create a world where your career is not determined by your birth. Now, we would like to say a very special thank you for watching this video. If you do like it, then we ask that you like, that you comment, and that you share, so that more people could get to know about this amazing content that you've just seen. And also, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the place where we upload videos every single week from some of the world's leading professionals across different industries. Within those videos on our YouTube channel, we have links to our future events and also some special content for you to check out. Till then, take care and do check out some of the other videos, and I'll see you soon.